YouTube people, I just said no. I passed. I stopped. I said enough. This is the first time since Brilliant Stars-ish? Late Sword and Shield era that I have not bought at least something on release. Typically a case of booster boxes. I passed. It's nothing against the set. I think Phantasmal Flames is going to be very popular. The 2 Mega Charizards are probably going to carry it for a long while. But the price point at $300 a box, and just kind of the way that I like to, or liked to, I guess, because you really can't do this anymore, invest in the Pokemon sealed, to me, at $300 a box, and I know this isn't the first release to come out at $300 a box, but now that we've crossed into Mega Evolutions, there's just a little bit more risk in my mind. I could be wrong. That I'm not willing to shell out, maybe if I get a deal, $1,500-$1,600 a case, if you're lucky. Maybe 17 even. That's a tall ask to then basically need to sit on that product to make real money. You're probably talking 4 years, 2 to 4 years, depending. Now, previous sets, Destined Rivals, there's been ones that have popped off, but not every single one has. Seed Journey Together, Mega Evolutions has come down quite a bit. And I don't know that the juice is worth the squeeze anymore at these increased buy-in price points. If it was MSRP, even $200 a box, I'd feel a lot better about it. The problem now is, and I was having this discussion with somebody yesterday, the easy money is gone. And I'm not talking about the hot market money. I'm talking about when you were able to get it for $80 to $100 a box. For that investment to double from 100, and I'm using 100, you were able to get this stuff for $80 a box fairly easily back in the day. But let's just call it $100 a box to keep the math a little bit simpler. When you were buying a case at $600 a case, it wasn't actually a tall ask for that case to double in price and go to $1,200. Like, that's not that far-fetched of a thing. You wait out the cycle, it moves on, the next cycle comes, and then the growth period kicks in, and it usually, sometimes almost instantly, gets to at least double up, and that's assuming a mid-tier set. Nothing that great. But to go from 100 to 200, not that bad. It doesn't take much for that to happen. It's very easy to see that in the short to medium term. When I'm saying short term, I'm not talking about months. I'm talking like 2 years. And medium term being like 2 to 5 years. It's very easy to map that out and say, okay, at least in 2 to 3, 4 years, I could very easily, most likely, even on a mid-tier to a lower tier set, probably double up pretty easily. Now, the buy-in is $300 a box. So $1,800 a case if you're paying full price. That's a big ask for that to double up. Now you're saying to double my money, this thing has to go to $600 a box, which it could. It very well could. I'm not saying that it couldn't. I am just not willing to front the $1,800 to find out. Fronting $600 to find out, easiest decisions I've ever made in my life when it comes to investing in collectibles. It was the simplest thing. Sure, $600 case, done. Easy. Even at full MSRP per case, done. No problem. Because it's still, that's going from around $150 a box, and I know it's a little bit more than that, but let's just call it $150. Going from $150 a box to $300 a box is not that far-fetched, especially on a good set. On a mid-tier set, maybe it gets to $250, but still, you're doing really well on that. And your upfront buy-in is just not that great. And I've been feeling this way for a while, and for whatever reason on Phantasmal Flames, and like I said, maybe this is the mistake, this is where I decided to draw the line in the sand. I probably should have did it on the switch over to Mega Evolutions, but I feel okay about that. My buy-in price wasn't full ask. I think my case that I got was around $1,300, which is actually where it's at today, which is fine. You know, normally in a normal world, this stuff sat at basically break even for a long time. The other thing that scares me is the unknown. Clearly, the market has been softening a little bit, at least on Scarlet and Violet era product. There is rumors of late Scarlet and Violet era reprints. It's probably going to soften that market even more. And that's part of my other thought process here. And it's a risk because I don't know that this is going to happen. It just could be all talk. But let's say they print the hell out of late Scarlet and Violet. Destin, more surging, specifically those two. And the box prices on those tank. If you're telling me they do a reprint of Surging, and I could get cases of Surging for $200 a box, $175, I would much rather buy that than this at $300, personally. And then if the market softens a little bit, not even a ton, and I know 30th anniversary is coming. Ooh. If the market softens just a little bit, and as we've seen, Pokemon continues to up printing, do these new releases coming out at $300 a box eventually get oversaturated? Remember, this thing's going to be in print for a while. And if you're buying at $300 and you're stashing, listen, odds are you're probably going to do fine. You are probably going to make your money back and well above that if you're willing to be patient on it. For me, at $300 a box, I'm just not willing to front the money up front for that. To tie up that amount of money for the next 2 to 4 years potentially with a lot of unknowns. The risk, for whatever reason, the risk scale for me has switched. But I'm curious for your thoughts and comments down below. How did you all handle Phantasmal Flames? And what do you think about all this? Catch you on the next one. Peace.